Welcome everyone, my name is Diana and this is a yoga sequence for the psoas muscle. What is the psoas muscle and why is it important? Let me tell you. The psoas muscle is a muscle that originates in the spine and inserts on the inner side of a femur bone or of our thigh bone. This is the muscle that we're engaging in order to flex the hip, to bring the knee towards the chest. So here, we're engaging the muscle and shortening the muscle. The thing is, because we sit down so much at our computer or in our car, this muscle has shortened, and what we're doing today is to lengthen it, to stretch it, to loosen it. This is very important for posture and also for the health of your body, because if that muscle is shortened, we tend to bend forward, to have a posture that is maybe not the best one for us. Let's start in a wide-legged child's pose. So, onto your knees, untuck the toes, bring the big toes to touch, and bring the knees wider. Press the bum towards the heels and lower the chest, walk the hands slightly forward, and then a few breaths here. You can bring the forehead on the mat, maybe adjust the hips side to side, find your body today. Bring awareness into all the sensations in your body. You might feel different than you felt yesterday, depending on what happened today, depending on how you slept, on what emotions you experienced today. So it might be that this wide-legged child's pose feels different than yesterday, and please be mindful of that, and also be mindful of any modifications you need to take. If you feel this in the knees, come a little bit higher. If you feel this in the back, again, lift the chest a little bit higher. So make sure that you experiment not only with this pose, but with everything that we're doing today. So yoga is a lot about knowing our body and what our body needs at every moment. From here, we are coming into a tabletop position, which means that the knees are right under our hips and the wrists are under our shoulders. But please do not bring the shoulders right over the wrists, but rather align the palms of the hands with the outer edges of your shoulders. From here, on the inhale, we're going to drop the belly, arch the back, look forward, point the tailbone up as well. Maybe lift the chin and feel how the front side of the body is stretching. On the exhale, draw the belly to the spine, bring your tailbone towards the belly button and the chin towards your chest. On the inhale, again, arch the back, draw your shoulders away from the ears as you do this. On the exhale, press the floor away from you. Bring the chin into the chest. Bring the forehead closer to the tailbone, the ribs towards the hips, and feel how the shoulder blades roll away from each other, draw away from each other. On the inhale, last one like this, arch the back. Bring the shoulder blades closer together as you spin the biceps forward. Lift the gaze, exhale, round for cat pose. On your next inhale, take the right leg with you. Lift the right heel, arch the back. On the exhale, point the toe, round, and touch the mat with the top of your foot. We're trying something different today. Inhale, lift. Lift the heel. Exhale, round, chin into chest, top of the foot down. Last one like this. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to neutral, and then on the exhale, step the right foot to the side at the outside of the mat. And I'm going to move like this in order for you to be able to see me better. So either we have the inside edge of the foot on the mat, and if we do, then we need to flex the foot intentionally to try to kiss the toes towards the shin, or we can bring the sole of the foot on the mat and to press evenly, so into the inner edge and the outer edge as well. From here, we're gonna inhale for cow, exhale for cat. 2 more, inhale for cow, exhale for cat. If you need to, you can always close your eyes to connect more and more to what you feel in your body. Exhale, round. Last one. Inhale to neutral here and press the right hip down. Press the right hip down, not with your hand, but rather intentionally press it down until maybe you might feel a stretch in your adductor muscle here. Bring the hips to neutral, inhale, come all the way up. If you feel pain in your left knee, you can bring a towel under your left knee or you can fold the mat. Try tucking and untucking the toes to see how that feels. On your next exhale, bring the hand on the outside of the right leg. Slide it without placing weight here and reach with your right arm, with your left arm up and over. Keep the chest pointing forward. And if you want to look up, make sure that you lengthen the neck through all its four sides and then look up. Inhale back to center. On the exhale, plant the palms down and step the right foot to your right thumb. Going to move again here so you can see me better. All right, slide the back knee to the back. Front knees over the front ankle. And then on the inhale, we're going to press the hips down, the chest forward and the gaze forward and maybe up. Now, we're going to check again though with our knees. The knees still over the ankle. We hope so. On the exhale, straighten the front leg, fold over it, maybe point the toes to the ceiling. Try to bring the chest closer to the thigh, but without overstretching. So without going past our edge. Inhale forward. Press the hips down. Exhale, back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Inhale forward, stay here, and draw your attention to your left side, to the psoas muscle here. This is exactly what we're stretching right now. And again, it might feel very tight. It might feel very tense. You might feel some emotions coming out here. It can be frustration. It can be anger. Anything that it is, just know that by doing this, you're releasing it. But at all times, do not force it too much. Always be aware of how your body feels and where your edge is. We're going to add something to this. But before we do it, make sure that you scissor your legs together. That you bring both thighs without any movement in towards each other. So you will feel how the muscles of the upper legs engage. From here, we have the option to lift the back toes off the mat. And please check with your back knee to see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel good, you can always lower the toes down. Make sure that you have that action of pulling the legs towards each other, to scissoring the legs, and see how that feels. You can lift those toes, experiment here. Lower the back toes down, and we have one more thing that I suggest here. Heel toe the foot for it to be exactly between the two palms of the hands, two hands. We're going to walk the palms slightly forward, flex the foot, so kiss the toes towards the shin, and from here, allow the knee to fall to the side. Protect the ankle here, make sure that the ankle doesn't go left and right, that the ankle stays stable and fixed where it is, and don't place all your weight here. So you are still pressing the floor away from you with your hands because you want to support your upper body. You don't want the upper body to come here to open your hip more than you actually need to, more than is safe for your hip. So how does that leg to the side feel? How does the knee feel? As you can see, this is a good preparation pose for pigeon. This is not yet pigeon, but it's getting there. Bring the knee back in. Bring the palms down, step the foot back, then come back into a tabletop position. For the tabletop position, if you need to take any movements here, please feel free to do so. We're going to do the same thing on the other side to even out the sides, of course. Inhale, reach your left leg up, heel, lift, back arches. On the exhale, Point the toe, bring the chin into the chest, slightly arch the back, press the floor away from you. Inhale, lift the heel, arch the back, lift the gaze. Exhale, round, touch the top of the foot to the mat. Inhale, lift. Please make sure that as you lift the gaze, you're not compressing the back of the neck. Exhale, round and touch. Inhale, come to neutral, and then step the foot to the side, just as we did before. Remember the option, have the foot flexed and stabilize here on the inner edge of the foot, or bring the sole of your foot on the mat. Now, if you're here, remember how we did it before. We want to make sure that we are keeping that ankle stable. All right. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. Let's take a few more rounds here. Cat-cow is maybe one of the sequences that is always done in class. And for good reason. Come back to your neutral spine and actively press the left hip down. So I'm not pressing it with my hand, I'm just showing it here. And see how the inner thigh feels. Is that a good feeling? Is that a juicy feeling? Or rather, not really? And if not really, you have always the option to get out of it. And choose not to do it. Very nice. Bring the hips back to neutral. Inhale, reach your arms up. On the exhale, left hand on the outside of the left leg. Slide it and reach up and over. Again, if you want to turn the gaze up, make sure that you lengthen the neck and then you turn your gaze upwards. Reach with your right arm towards the left side. Inhale to come up again. Exhale, plant the hands and step the foot forward. Ow, excuse me. So left foot is on the inside of the left hand. Maybe slide the back knee to the back to keep that front knee over the front ankle. Inhale to press the hips down. And again, send awareness here to the psoas muscle. And on the exhale, straighten the leg and fold. Point the toes up. Inhale, forward. Exhale to straighten and fold. We have one more. Inhale, press the chest forward, gaze forward or up. Exhale, straighten and fold. Inhale, come here, and again, press it down. See how it feels. How's your psoas muscle doing? Is it tight? Is it loose? Allow the exhale to relax you and to loosen up the muscles more and more. From here, we're going to heel to the foot between the hands. Walk the hands slightly forward. Flex the foot, very important. And allow the knee to fall to the side, to the other side. Keep that ankle flexed and stable, fixed where it is, and do not place too much weight onto that hip because we actually want to make sure that we're safe here. Even here, do not place too much weight on your psoas. So even here, try to scissor the legs together. Try to pull the back knee towards the hand. Bring the knee back in. And we have one more thing here. We're going to lift the back toes if we want to, if it felt good, or if we want to experiment it on the other side of this side, even if we haven't done it on the other side. Of course, each side is different. You might feel that one side is tighter than the other, especially if we tend to put more weight on one side and less on the other. Lower the back toes, step both legs back, untuck the toes, and come on to your belly. To your belly, the chest is down as well. The palms are by the ribs, shoulder blades together, shoulders away from the ears. Pull the arms back to lengthen the spine. Imagine you have something pulling the crown of your head forward. Press into the tops of the feet so the kneecaps lift off the mat. Inhale, arch. Exhale, lower the forehead down. Inhale, arch. Baby cobra, exhale, forehead. Last one, inhale, arch. Exhale, forehead down. Bring the elbows right under the shoulders. The forearms are parallel to each other and the palms are facing down. So try to press into the knuckles of your index finger and to press the palms, the forearms, the elbows into the earth. Bring the chin into the chest. Here, roll the shoulders away from the earth. Bring the shoulder blades together. And from here, roll the head upwards. Gaze is forward. Some of us might feel comfortable lifting the gaze, but please feel free to do so in case you are able or you're avoiding to compress the neck here. So we want to have a long neck. In your Sphinx pose, press the pubic bone into the earth and see how that feels. With the gaze forward from this position, we're going to lift the right leg. Inhale, lift and down. Lift and down. Lift, release, lift, release, and lift and hold. Continue to breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Lower the right leg. Inhale, lift the left leg and lower. Inhale and down. Last 2 and down. Last 1 and down. And now lift and hold the quad, the thighs off the mat. 2 and 1. Beautiful. Now, we're going to bring the chest down, the arms by our side and the palms facing down. Shoulders are away from the ears. Shoulder blades together, of course. Neck is long. Gaze somewhere in front of us. On the inhale, we're going to lift the chest off the mat and maybe the gaze slightly. Exhale here. Point the toes. Inhale. Lift the legs as well. Exhale here. And lastly, inhale. Lift the arms as well. You're very aerodynamic here. We're going to hold this locust pose. If you feel it anywhere in the back, an uncomfortable sensation, then please come just slightly out of this locust pose. Otherwise, with every inhale, try to lift the arms, the legs, and the chest a little bit more. Exhale to hold. 2 more. Inhale to lift a little bit higher. Exhale to hold. And inhale, lift. Exhale, come all the way down. Look towards the left side. Come back to center. Come back to your Sphinx pose. This time. So the Sphinx pose again, our elbows are right under the shoulders. The palms are rooted into the earth. The forearms are parallel to each other. Of course, you have the option for dolphin to interlace the fingers here if you feel that's better for your arms. We're going to tuck the toes and lift the bum, either keeping the knees on the floor or also lifting here. We are in a variation of plank. We're going to bring the tailbone towards the belly button, hold here. Continue to breathe. Relax the facial muscles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ease down, chest down, arms by your side, and this time look towards the right side. Back to center. Plant the hands, tuck the toes. Inhale through a tabletop position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now in our downward facing dog, remember the alignment of the arms that we had in tabletop position. The palms are more than shoulder width apart. We can decide to align them at the outer edges of the shoulders. The feet are hip width apart. Inhale, come high on the toes. Exhale, press the heels into the earth. If you feel that your back is rounding, press the chest down. Otherwise, press into the knuckles, press the floor away from you. Allow the shoulders to come closer to the ears if needed. Inhale to come high on the toes. Exhale, press the heels into the earth. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Bring the right leg up and lift here for 4, 3, toes are pointing down, 2, 1. Bend that floating leg and let's take some wide circles with that knee. Let's do 2 towards the front and 1 towards the back. 2 towards the back as well. Come back to neutral, extend the leg, inhale, lift the heel, come high on the left toes and step the foot forward at the outside of your right hand. Bring the knee down and from here, slide the back knee to the back slightly, so the front knee is over the front ankle, press the hips down. Exhale, straighten the leg and fold. Just as we did before, just this time, we are doing this from lizard pose. Inhale to come forward. Exhale. Straighten and fold. Maybe point the right toes upwards if you need to. Inhale forward, chest forward, pelvis down, gaze forward or up. Exhale. Straighten and fold. Inhale to come forward here. Flex the foot and roll on to the outer edge of your right foot, allowing the knee to fall to the side. How does that feel? Press the floor away from you with the hands so you're supporting the weight of your upper body. We're not putting all the weight onto that hip. We want to protect the hip. You don't want to injure it, just stretch it out. Now, maybe bring the left toes up. I'm going to stay here for a bit, just for a few more seconds. Make sure that you scissor the legs together. Make sure that you pull that back knee towards the front, towards your hands. You'll see how you are protecting there from not overstretching. Lower the back toes, bring the right knee in. Bring the foot on the mat, at the edge of the mat. We are going to try to take mermaid pose. This has several names. But let's try to lift the back toes off the mat again. We can stay here, of course, or we can decide not to lift the toes at all. Or we can windmill the right arm towards the back and grab a hold of the top of the back foot. Now remember that this is a very, very intense stretch for the psoas and also for the quads. So maybe, just maybe today is not the right time to do it. Even if you've done it before, maybe you don't feel open enough, and that's fine. Slowly release, bring both palms down, step the front foot to the back and tuck the toes and rest in child's pose. And as you rest in child's pose, I would like to invite you to identify if there's, or send awareness towards your hips and see if there is any difference in how the left hip feels from the right hip. Where did you experience the stretches? What feels where? And now we're going to even out the sides. Inhale for a tabletop position, tuck the toes and bring your hips back and up in downward facing dog. Find your downward facing dog. Maybe here bend the knees slightly, send the hips back, and then as you straighten the legs, the hips move upwards. Imagine that you're stretching the hips or reaching with the hips to that priest where the wall meets the ceiling. Inhale, reach your left leg up. Left heel, toes are pointing down. Lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Bend the floating leg and describe some wide circles. 2 towards the front and 2 towards the back. Square the hips by pressing the left hip down. Straighten the leg, toes are pointing down. Lift the left heel, come high on the right toes, and step your foot forward at the outside of your left hand. Lower the back knee down, send the back knee maybe towards the back if needed. Inhale to press the hips down. Exhale to straighten the front leg and fold, bringing the chest down, acknowledging where you might feel this pose. Inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward, hips down, chest forward, gaze forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Inhale, come forward, open that foot. So the toes point towards the corner of your room. Just make sure that the knees and the toes point, the knee and the toe point in the same direction. Flex the foot and allow the knee to fall to the side. Going to turn to this side so it's easier to see. So the foot is externally rotated. The toes are pointing in the same direction as the knee, and we're rolling onto the outer edge of the foot, supporting our weight with our hands, pulling the back knee towards the hands to make sure that we're not overstretching the psoas on that side. Here we have the option to bring the back toes up. Again, this might be too much, maybe for your knee, maybe for your right quad. That's fine. Maybe it's just not today. Lower the toes, bring the knee in. Bring the sole of the left foot at the outer edge of the mat. Again, press the hips down, see how this feels. And we have the same option to lift the back toes off the mat. You can stay here or windmill, that left arm, grab a hold of the top of the back foot and stay here. I noticed this for myself, depending on what time of day I'm practicing, of how my day was, what emotion I've experienced that day, how stressed or relaxed I am, that this pose is easier or less easy. It also depends on the temperature and a lot of other things. So just allow each shape to feel differently and to look differently maybe every day. Bring both palms down, step the front foot to the back, and rest in child's pose. If your wrists are hurting, turn the palms to face upwards to give them a stretch and a rest. Hold here for a few breaths. If you close your eyes, maybe focus on your breath, see how your body feels after all of these stretches. And not only your body, how does your mind feel? Or what does your mind say? And what emotions have come up? There is no right or wrong emotion, no right or wrong thought, no right or wrong sensation. All this is information. And if the sensation is not something that is juicy, not something that you feel that your muscles are stretched or engaged, but it's something else, if it's something that you feel in the knees or in another joint in the bone, just be aware of that. And when there is a pose where you feel this, make sure that you come out of that pose. All right. Inhale to a tabletop position. Tap the toes. And let's meet again in a downward facing dog. Let us walk the dog here. Inhale. Bring your right leg up. Come high on the left toes and step the foot forward. between the hands. You have always the option to lower the back knee down. I'm going to show the high crescent lunge with the knee off the mat, the back knee off the mat. Front knees over the front ankle. If you draw 2 lines, parallel lines through your feet would be hip width apart, just like on train tracks. And once you feel that you have a stable foundation here, that all the 4 corners of the front foot are well rooted into the earth, that you are high on the back toes, the back leg is engaged, press to the front heel, inhale, reach your arms up. 4, surprise, surprise, high crescent lunge. In our high crescent lunge, the front knee is over the front ankle, we're high on the back toe, the back leg is engaged. We're pressing slightly the left hip forward to make sure that we align the hips. At the same time, we are going to engage the core and point our tailbone down. And yes, once we do this movement here, the stretch in our psoas on the left side is going to intensify. Now, if you feel that your chest is puffing, try to bring the ribs towards the hip bones so that the ears are over the shoulders and over the hips. All right, how are we feeling here? Maybe this is very, very challenging today. Who knows? I'm going to share one more trick to release a muscle. In order to release a muscle, we need to engage the antagonist muscle. What is that? Well, muscles work in pairs. When we engage a muscle, the antagonist muscle that does the opposite needs to lengthen. So I invite you here to engage your left bum cheek. So that left glute is at the antagonist muscle, or one of the antagonist muscles of your psoas. So when that glute is engaging, the psoas is automatically stretching in order to create more space for the glute to engage. All right, inhale here, lengthen, exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lift the leg again, and from here we're going to open that right hip. So maybe pointing the right toes towards the side, bend the floating leg, point the toes, and then on the inhale, we're going to try to open that right hip a little bit more and reach with the toes for the opposite wall. Inhale to reach, exhale to hold. At the same time, make sure that your shoulders are square, and you do this by pressing the right shoulder down. Very nice. Square the hips. Inhale here, extend the leg, come high on the left toes, and step the foot at the outside of your right hand. Now, we are in a strengthening lizard pose, and what does this mean? That the back knee is off the mat. You have always the option to lower the back knee down, but this is a more active pose. Either gets you the stretch in the right hip and in the left hip flexor and the left psoas. But depending, maybe you want to engage your arms more, maybe you want to engage the core as well. Tap the tailbone towards the belly button, shoulders are away from the earth, press the floor away from you. We're here, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Come back to your downward facing dog. Walk the dog here if you feel the need to. Inhale to come forward. Option to lower the knees, untuck the toes, come all the way down. Tops of the feet are on the mat, palms are by the wrists, elbows hugging in. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down. 2 more. Inhale, back bend. Can be cobra, baby cobra, whatever works. Exhale, forehead down. Last one. Inhale. And exhale, forehead down. Inhale. Through a tabletop position or plank, tuck the toes. Back to downward facing dog. This time, inhale, reach the right leg up. Come high on the left toes and step it through. just wanted to remember if I did something in between. All right, so we have here a strong foundation, yes. All four corners of the front foot pressed are well rooted into the earth. Behind the back toes, our back leg is engaged. We press through the front heel and come up into high crescent lunge on this other side. Again, what are we doing here? We are pressing, so we're just moving. We're pressing the right shoulder forward. All right. At the same time, we are bringing the tailbone towards the belly button in order to actually point it down. So that is the direction of the tailbone. I'm just saying towards the belly button, so you do that movement. Engage the belly, arms reach up. And remember, what did we do on the other side? We engage the glute. Why? Because the glute is the antagonist muscle of the hip flexor, of the psoas. So engage that glute and maybe sit deeper into your runner's lunge. How does it feel? I feel challenging in different positions, different parts. We're engaging some muscles. We are stretching some muscles. Inhale here, exhale, plant the hands and step back to downward facing dog. Reach the left leg up again. Bend the floating leg and point the toes towards the opposite side, towards the right side. Your left hip is open here. Inhale to open a little bit more and to reach for the opposite side. Exhale to hold. Do this 3 more times. Inhale to reach, exhale to hold. Make sure that your shoulders are square. Press that left armpit down. 1 more inhale. And exhale, square the hips. Extend the floating leg. Point the toes down. Come high on the right toes. And step the foot at the outside of the hand. Option to lower the back knee down, of course. Or to enjoy the strengthening lizard pose. Either is great. Shoulders are away from the ears. We're pressing the floor away from us. So we're not here. The head is not sinking. We have a strong posture. On your next exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to come high on the toes, slightly bend the knees and walk, step or hop forward for a forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway, exhale to fold. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale, come up halfway, flat back, exhale. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart and keep them here. Feet are hip width apart. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, send the weight to the heels and bring the bum down or into a chair pose. Send the weight to the heels, maybe lift the toes here. Let's come into a flow. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down into a chair. As low as it goes. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, 2 more. Reach up. Exhale. Sit into the chair. And last one. Inhale and exhale. From here, if you've lowered, you've lifted your toes, lower them. On your next inhale, we're going to come up and bring the right knee with us. Well, guess which muscle holds this knee up? Exactly, the psoas. Lower it back to chair pose. Inhale, lift the other knee. Engage the psoas muscle. Try to become aware, try to actually see it. Exhale down. Let's do this 3 more times on each side. Inhale up. Imagine that muscle starting in your spine here and inserting here on the inside of the thighs. Inhale up, left leg. Exhale down. Inhale up, the psoas engages. Exhale down. Inhale up, left leg. Exhale down. And last one, inhale. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to come halfway up, flat back. Exhale down, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward into plank, cycle through your flow or lower the knees and tuck the toes. Come up on the inhale for your back bend. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, tabletop position. Exhale, downward facing dog. I would like to suggest one more pose for today, and that's pigeon. And every one of us has your practice with pigeon. I'm going to cue a few options, but make sure that you listen to your body. You know what you need. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Come high on the left toes. Bring the right knee to the right wrist. Place the shin at the angle that works for your hip and also for your knee. We want to have the toes pointed and the hips square. So maybe you want to slide the back knee to the back. Make sure you don't collapse onto that right knee or onto that right hip. Try to press the floor away from you here with the hands. Try to bring the tailbone towards the belly button. That's not going to happen, I know, but still, that action allows you to hold this pose. So, several options for pigeon, everyone. You can fold over the bent leg and enjoy it here. You can rest onto your forearms or onto your hands. Or you can decide to stay up here and to bend that back leg maybe to see how it is, to see maybe your quads are more loose than they were stretched and longer than they were at the beginning of this practice. And of course, you have the option to grab a hold of the top of your back foot with your right hand, even to bring the top of the foot on the inside of your elbow. For me, this is as long as it goes today. I have days and days. This is where I am today. You can also take the bind by bringing your left arm up and over the head, bending and clasping both hands. Wherever you are, again, send awareness. Where do you feel this pose? What emotions come up? What thoughts come up? Allow them to happen. Be the observer of all and only react to sensations that might not be safe for you. Any sharp shooting pain, any tingling, make sure that you get out of the pose. We're going to spend a few more breaths here. We're going to take another option. So wherever you are, make sure that you feel a juicy stretch, a stretch that is safe for your body. All right, if you had lowered all the way down, come up onto your forearms, then onto your hands, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step the right foot back. Let us walk the dog here because our right knee, has been very flexed and there has been some weight on it. So allow it to decompress here. Inhale, reach your left leg up. Come high on the right toes and bring the left knee towards the left wrist. Slide the back knee to the back, maybe untuck the toes. And here, wherever your shin wants to be allowed to be there. But point the toes here, press the floor away from you. Try to scissor the legs here as well. Try to send the left hip forward to square the hips, the tailbone down. Of course, you can engage the left glute if you want to stretch that psoas muscle more. So it depends on what side you want to focus on. Maybe you want to focus on the psoas, just as we did today, or maybe you want to open the right hip a little bit more. So just adjust the pose based on what your goal is with it. Of course, you can come onto the palms of the hand, or onto the forearms, or onto the palms of the hands, or you can use this more active pose or active version of pigeon. Again, they're all great. It just matters what your goal is. All right, have the option to grab a hold of the back foot with your left hand. You can stay here, or you can bend that arm and bring the top of the foot on the inside of the elbow. You can clasp the hands, whatever works for you. Remember that every pose can have different goals. And especially this one, as I said, you can either count on stretching the psoas, or if you want to stretch the right glute, or to open that hip, or maybe you want to stretch more, or you want to strengthen. So if you want to strengthen, then you're going to engage the muscles. You're going to scissor the legs together. If you would like to stretch, then you're going to allow the weight of your body to deepen this pose. So adjust the expression of each pose to your needs, to your goals, and to how your body feels that day. If you had lowered all the way down, come onto the forearms, come onto the palms of the hands, stack the back toes, lift the back knee, and step to downward facing dog. Again, walk the dog here, and release that left knee. It is very important that wherever you are, you don't feel it in the joints, you don't feel it in the knees. So if in pigeon pose you feel it in the knees, then please try to take another hip opener and another way to get the benefits. If you want to stretch the hips, you can come into happy baby, for example, if pigeon doesn't work for you. I must tell you that for me, pigeon is one of the most uncomfortable poses, so I only do it rarely, but it has a lot of benefits, so I decided to give you this option today. You can also come high on the toes, lower the knees to mat, and come into a seated position. It can be cross-legged, it can be with the legs extended. If you even want to lay on your back for the final breaths of this workout, please feel free to do so. So just rock side to side, sending the weight of your body towards one sit bone, then to the other. Just create small waves with your upper body. And as you close your eyes and breathe here, ask your inner teacher if you need any other exercises, any other movements to loosen your body. You might want to winch your wrap the knees side to side. Maybe you want to stay in stillness in your easy cross-legged position. Maybe you just want to lay on your back and take a little nap. What is right for me or what I need now might not be what you need. Allow yoga to teach you to be in complete connection and alignment with yourself and with your body, so you can take exactly what you need at each practice. Come back to center. Have a tall spine with the ears over the shoulders over the hips. Open your eyes if they're closed. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let it go. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Bow your head to that infinite wisdom that lies within you. Thank it for guiding you to do a yoga practice today, and allow it to guide you through your whole life, through all your decisions, day and night. Thank you everyone very much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.
She's waiting.